I'm Deborah Robin. I'm playing Doris Day in P3 Theater's production of Day After Day, the life and music of Doris Day. If you'd like to learn more about this incredible production, here's an interview.
So my first question is, tell us about when you first heard about Day After Day, the musical, and why did you want to be part of this award-winning production?
I first heard about Day After Day because I saw a notice in Backstage West looking for someone to sing some Doris music, and it caught my eye right away. I um, I had just heard about the P3 Theater Company because I had a friend who was going to see a production that they were doing. I think it was Steel Magnolias. And before that, I think they'd done Evita. So I'd heard a little bit about them. I thought they were a newer company, but I didn't know much more than that. And I loved the music of Doris Day. I actually sung some of her songs in concert before, although I never portrayed her. I sung. Anyway, I went to audition for the show, and I didn't even have time to do callbacks because I had committed to do another project. But I was very, very fortunate to get cast in Day After Day with John Peterson of P3 Theater Company and the creators of the show, Tony Santamauro, who wrote and starred in it, and his daughter Christy Cohen Mauro. Oh, sorry, Christy Mauro-Cohen, who also played Doris. And I didn't know it at the time, but meeting them was really life-changing for me. And learning more about Doris and being able to step into her shoes really did not just create a fan of Doris. I'm now a big fan, but it also changed my life and my outlook on life. She's been a huge inspiration to me.
Tell us about the Day After Day main story arc and what's it about.
Okay, so Day After Day is the story, the kind of the life story of Doris Day told through her songs, through her music. And it begins from her earliest days as a teenager on the radio, touring with big bands on the bus, all the way through her later years after she retired, after she did the Doris Day show. Although I would say even Doris herself said she never really retired. She just found something better to do with her time. So she was always very active and had a huge passion for life and love and taking care of animals. So that continued into her later years. But the show really does tell her story, and the music is beautifully woven all throughout. So we get to see Doris from about 16 to well into her, 50s, 60s. And beyond, and it's told with Doris and another person on the stage, the co-star who plays many different men in Doris's life, including the narrator of her life.
And tell us the process of becoming Doris Day.
Well, I have to say, the process of becoming or learning more about Doris was made so easy for me. I feel like I did have to work at it. I really had to listen to her music, watch her movies. I watched her in interviews. I'm so fortunate that YouTube exists. I was able to watch her as much as I could and listen to her. And I did listen to her music and her singing and her style and her inflections. But I feel like that's just stylistically. I feel like what really helped me kind of start to get to the heart of who she may have been as a person were really Tony Santamauro and his daughter, Christy Cohen. Tony's actually met Doris and spoken with her and spent time with her. And both of them spent decades of their life writing about her and performing the show about her life. And they gave me really every single thing that I needed to do, every movement, every gesture. They allowed me to make it my own, but they were so tender out of their love for her and their care about the show to usher me into this role. So I felt like I feel like I was very spoiled and very taken care of because they know her life so well and everything that she does down to her mannerisms. So I feel like I had it easy. I really had them to show me the way.
Would you say with their help that it was less pressure on portraying such a real life icon?
Absolutely. I think you just summarized, Buell, what what I was trying to say. Yes, with their help, absolutely, because Doris still to this day has so many ardent fans who love her so much, everything that she sang, everything that she performed. So this was a very real person that I was stepping into the shoes of, and I didn't want to get it wrong. And yes, it would have been, I think, very intimidating and overwhelming for me if I hadn't had two very patient, incredible, and thoughtful and kind experts who were also who pay great attention to detail and nuance to help me to usher me into this part. So absolutely, it was, I would say, 99.9% them. And then the other small percentage was just being me and my excitement and eagerness to learn more about her.
And I understand you have a new actor or the new man in this production. Tell us about your new co-star and why you love working with him.
Oh, yes. So this is the second narrator, actually the third narrator that I've worked with. So my former co-star was absolutely lovely. His name is Zach, and I enjoy performing with him very much, and I may be able to perform with him again in future. He simply moved further away, so out of necessity, we needed a new narrator for the times when we're performing our shows closer to home here in the Los Angeles area. There is the other narrator that I've worked with one time was Tony Santamauro, who is the creator of the show. He stepped in to play the part one time, which was super fun. But our newest addition to the show is Christopher Showerman, and he is immensely talented. We are so, so fortunate to have him step on board with us. He actually learned the role very quickly. I think he memorized the entire show in like a week when he was already performing in another production. He was playing the lead in Music Man. So while he was doing that, he also learned our show, which, if you've seen it, it's just two people for 2 hours. He learned an incredible amount of material, and he has so much energy and joie de vivre, and he just has such evident delight and enjoyment in just being on stage. And it really shows through. It really, his admiration for Doris and his love of what he does really has its own kind of magic. So he's a joy to perform with. And as a person, he's very creative and kind, enthusiastic, encouraging. As an actor, if you've ever been on stage before, that is exactly the kind of person you'll love being on stage with the most.
And tell us a little more about the music director and the directors, how they've helped you bring these different versions of Day After Day alive.
Yes, our musical director is David Cohen, and he was the original musical director of the show, and it was created over 20 years ago by Tony and his daughter Christy. And he knows this music inside and out, backwards and forwards. He can play it in any key. He knows, I think, every Doris song there ever was, and he's definitely been our guiding expert on all the music, including different versions of Doris songs. There might have been different radio versions, recorded versions, and movie versions of the same song, and he knows all of them. So David has definitely been an expert. And as the accompanist in the show, when he plays the piano, because we have live music in the show, when David plays along, he's absolutely wonderful. He keeps the pace of the show. He's very connected to the actors and everything that's happening on the stage. He's very much a part of the show. I would say that the band members, when we have live music, our pianist, our drummer, our bassist, any musicians that we have, they're just as much a part of the show as the actors are. Sometimes they're even on the stage with us playing, and they bring so much to it. They're really, really tuned into every single thing that's happening because the music is woven so closely through the entire show. There's a lot of dialogue and music, and it flows seamlessly. And the directors of the show, Tony Santamauro is our director. He also created the role of the narrator. He wrote the show. He starred in the show, and his daughter Christy played Doris. And she's also, from time to time, because we've had different incarnations of the show, from time to time, she's also stepped in as director. And both of them absolutely love Doris. I know that Christy Mauro-Cohen has grown up listening to Doris and watching her movies and then portraying Doris herself along with her father. I feel like Doris is just as much a part of their family as any other genetic family member. And they've welcomed me into their family as well. So it's been a real privilege to work with them. They're truly experts at what they do.
Why is theater such a unique format, both for the actors and the audiences?
I think that live theater is such a unique format, both for actors and a live audience, because I feel like they're very much co-creating together. Even though the audience maybe, didn't have the script or the rehearsals, every single performance is different. So even if an audience member attended the same performance every night, it would be a little bit different. I think just energetically, every audience brings their own unique energy to a show when they're watching. Even if they never make a sound, even if there's no applause or booing or hissing or yaying, the audience is very much a part of the unfolding of the story. And I think that people go to the theater to be moved, either to forget about their troubles or to enjoy themselves, to learn something, to escape, but they want to be moved. They want to feel something. And it's an actor's job to facilitate that and make the audience a part of that too. They're all experiencing this together. And I think that it's so much different than, watching a movie where it's going to be the same every single time you see it, no matter how beautiful and moving it is. Whereas live performance, you never know what could happen. It can change very dramatically, even with the same lines, the same dialogue, and the same scenery. And I think that they're necessary. Actors don't want to perform on stage to emptiness. That's always the missing ingredient after Tech Week, is finally having people there to experience this alongside the actor. And the actors want to be moved too. It's fun to tell stories. If it wasn't fun, we wouldn't do it.
Then with musical theater, why is it such a unique format in theater, and why does it seem to be always very popular?
I think musical theater is so popular because it amplifies music. I think always amplifies whatever emotion is already being conveyed or whatever story is already being conveyed. If you think about a movie, if the movie had no sound, no music, so much of what we feel would be missing. And so I think that's the same, a similar way for a theater experience. When there's music added and singing added, it intensifies the emotional component. I'm paraphrasing, but you've probably heard the phrase about how when you're a performer and the story or the emotion that you're trying to portray becomes too big even for regular speaking words, then you have to sing it. And so it expresses and intensifies that emotion or the story. And even further, I think if there's dancing, once even our voices cannot adequately convey the story or what we're feeling, then we bring our bodies into it and we dance it too, so we can completely feel it. So I think people, if they go to the theater to feel moved, musical is the perfect way to do that. It intensifies and brings to more vivid life what is happening on stage. To me, as a performer, I love straight plays too. That's actually my training. Most of my background was in doing classical theater. But for me, a musical is the difference between Dorothy before she opens the door to Oz, and then when she finally opens the door and walks into Munchkin Land and everything is bright and technicolor. To me, that's what music brings to the theater. It just brightens everything energetically.
And about musical, what is it about Tony's writing, Tony's production, that his musicals are so unique?
Well, Tony has written, I don't actually know how many musicals Tony has written. He's written many. He's in his 80s and he's spent a lifetime creating his own material, which is quite remarkable. This has been his career. He's also been a teacher and a director and a performer, and still is doing all of those things every day. But yes, he has literally created his own work and written his own shows, and that's amazing. His creativity and his discipline are absolutely astonishing. And when he decided to create the Doris show, it kind of happened organically. He's been a lifelong Doris fan, and I believe he just wanted to create with his daughter kind of a tribute, like a concert, tribute. And it gradually added more dialogue, more details about her life. And over a period of years, he kept adding to the story until it became this very polished, very sophisticated, and very entertaining show, a musical about her life. I know that it was difficult for him to find which songs to do in the show. I think at one point he said he must have been a few hundred of her songs on Post-its, no, index cards, and they were up on a board, and he had to just go through and eliminate the ones that he didn't think would quite work. So it was kind of by process of elimination that he very carefully chose exactly the right song for just this point in her life and the part of the story that we're telling. So his attention to detail is staggering. And it really has created this beautiful, beautiful story about her life.
To add on that, tell me the joy that you get performing day after day about this creative icon.
I think Doris's voice, her singing, just her singing voice, having listened to it so many times, is more than technically beautiful. She did with her voice what a lot of gifted, I think, jazz musicians can do with their instruments. And I know that actually jazz, like Ella Fitzgerald, was one of her earliest influences. She is a coloratura with her voice. All of her notes and inflections she's making this beautiful painting like a dappled sunlit impressionist painting with her voice. So for me, just listening to it, I get tingles, I get chills. I love listening to her. So even attempting to not imitate her, but kind of sing in tribute to her was a huge learning experience for me because I had to step out of my basic training. Nothing that because I have trained in opera and vocal performance and I teach it, and nothing that I learned quite prepared me for how to sing even approaching the manner of Doris. So just her voice alone, without her amazing movie star persona, is so beautiful and so colorful and so rich and nuanced. And it brings me so much joy to listen and sing it. And that particular time in history, the music that she was singing, first of all, was a lot more difficult to sing than it sounds. She made it all sound really easy. But a lot of it was very optimistic and bubbly and uplifting and joyful. And even her sadder songs and her longer ballads, she managed to bring so much life to it. She never sang a lyric, just sang it. She really expressed it. She was very emotive when she sang. So I find that admirable and beautiful to listen to. And Doris, as a persona, as a performer, and as a movie star, was also so engaging. I think she was highly underrated. Her fans love her, but I think that her critics never gave her the credit that she was due. She was really a very versatile and sophisticated actress. And I think because she made it look so easy and effortless, she wasn't given the credit that I think she deserved.
What do you think is the underlying message of Day After Day, the musical?
One of the underlying messages about Day After Day is really, even though it's lighthearted and that's sort of what Doris was known for being very bubbly and lighthearted and joyful and optimistic, I think it's also about her resilience. Doris was a very strong person. She overcame so many obstacles and difficulties, from shattering her legs in a train accident early on, which ruined her dancing career, to having not just one man, but multiple men who used her terribly in her life. She never felt sorry for herself. She was never a victim. She said that she was like one of those kind of bouncy rubber dolls where if you give it a punch, it pops right back up again. That was Doris. She was very courageous, very powerful, and very strong, and had a lot of grit and tenacity. And I think that her story is incredibly encouraging and uplifting, how she overcame so many obstacles in her life and just kept right on treading, kept right on getting better and better and better at what she did, and still continued to love life and expect the best out of life. And one of her sayings was, "The best is yet to come." She never gave up. She always looked for the bright side, but that was a choice. She made that choice to look for the bright side. She wasn't just a Pollyanna. She made that choice to be brave and courageous and accept her heartaches and still find joy and love and hope in her life.
When I saw this great production with you in it, it was fantastic. But it educated me. It was fun, but also educated me in all about her life that I never heard about. What was the part what was surprised you about Doris Day?
Well, I did my own, in addition to the show, I also read and learned as much about Doris's life as I could, including reading her autobiography, which is now out of print. But if you can find it and you're interested in her life, I highly recommend it. But I think one of the things, there's so many things that amazed me about her life that I didn't know. And I'm still learning more about her life. Every time I do the show and talk to Tony and Christy, I'm still learning. So I don't know everything there is to know about Doris. One of the things that impressed me the most was how much of a consummate professional she was, in a way that is almost unheard of now. For example, and one of her most famous songs, I believe, is Secret Love, and from Calamity Jane. And she was in tears the first time she heard the song. And she recorded that song, I believe, I could be wrong. Tony can correct me, but I believe she recorded this song in one take. And she did this with a lot of her other recordings where she maybe did one, maybe two takes, and that was it. It was perfect. She was fully committed in the moment. So technically she wasn't just flawless, but emotionally she understood the heart of the song, and she imbued every single word she said with her heart's meaning. And it didn't need to be done again. It was perfection. And nowadays, if anybody is familiar with the recording process in a studio, it takes hours, days, weeks for just one song sometimes, over and over and over again. And she just showed up and did it. And it was perfect. And that's incredible.
What do you want the audience to get out of Day After Day, the musical?
I hope that for audience members, whether they know anything about Doris Day or not, if they're ardent fans or they've never heard her music before, or they're looking for a little bit of vintage 50s and 60s nostalgia, I think it has so much to offer everyone. It does tell the story of her life in her songs in ways that you might be able to find parts of if you look her up on Wikipedia or you look up the stories about her life. But these also have, based on people that knew this show is based also on the um, interviews with people who knew her, who loved her, who worked with her, who had a very special insight on who she was as a person, not just as an image or a persona, as America's virgin. She was so much more than that, and she was an absolutely beautiful and lovely and powerful person to know in their personal lives. Her music is renowned for being so uplifting. She could sing anything. Doris could sing jazz. She even sang rock, believe it or not. She could sing American standard classics. She could sing 1940s music, which she did. She could sing anything and make it sound incredible. Like she was born to sing that way. So I think that anyone would walk away feeling inspired by Doris's life and by her conviction and her courage, but also uplifted, because now more than ever, I feel like we need joy and hope and optimism and sunshine of real substance, not just fluff, but just something that really touches our hearts and makes us feel happy and hopeful again and inspired again. I really believe that this show can do that, as well as being immensely entertaining.
Why must the Southern California theater community go see Day After Day, the musical now?
I would invite anyone in Southern California to come see Day After Day, the musical now, because I feel now more than ever, we need hope. We need optimism. We need a little bit of escapism and entertainment. We need joy and life and fun and vivid colors. And Doris brought all of that to life. This show brings her to life with her costumes, with her style, with her joy, with her grace, with her talent, with her incredible life story in which she went through unimaginable heartache, but also some amazing and beautiful life experiences. And she also gave so much to the world with her talent and also with her kindness and her benevolence to people and animals. She just showered everybody around her with love. She was universally loved and admired. And this show does a beautiful job of showcasing what an incredible person Doris Day was in life and in the movies and on the screen and in person, and with her music and with her voice and with her heart.
Didn't have this down, but would you like to see this production not only touring in Southern California, but around the country? Because right now, country needs this positivity.
Oh my goodness. Yes, yes, absolutely. I would love to share this show with Southern California and beyond. I feel that it has so much to offer and so much beauty and joy and exuberance to bring. I feel like it's almost impossible to see the show and not walk out smiling and uplifted and singing whatever your favorite Doris tune is from the show, because there are so many, including some tunes of Doris' songs that you may never have heard before. So we have some of her most beloved tunes and some that are a little bit more obscure. I'm Deborah Robin, and I'm so privileged to be playing Doris Day in P3 Theater Company's production of Day After Day, the life and music of Doris Day. I warmly invite you to come join us for a spectacular evening of beautiful costumes, amazing music. You'll come away feeling inspired, uplifted, and joyful, and it's exactly the right amount of entertainment and escapism that we all so immensely need right now. I guarantee you'll walk away with a smile on your face, a lighter step, and joy in your heart. I hope you'll join us. See you at the theater.